Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to A Pleasant Encounter. This is Miss Geraldine Smith right here, WYCA 102.3 FM. We are the humanitarian arm of the Crawford Broadcasting, where we bring you issues every week. We put on this table such a smorgasbord, so when you go around this table and eat a little bit here and a little bit there, you'll get some information that can really, really help you. Tonight I have Brian Nelson back from the Uptown Law Center here. I have Red Ross from Roberts House. And, of course, I got Mr. Norman Northshaw, who is my partner here at WYCA. And I have Sharifa, the law student here, the attorney here, who's going to give us some information, and I have two other guests here that I really haven't had time to really go into depthness of their names and whatever. But Mr. Bryan is going to introduce all of them to us, and you know he loves to talk, so he ain't going to forget too much about going around this table. But Sharifa is here, and I am so glad because she's such a pleasant person to bring some information to the table, and I'm hoping that my audience, you, are getting information from her about the legal system and all the things that she's doing. I want her to recap a little bit about her visit to the prison with the women and give you some insight on that. But most of all, if there are any announcement, do you have any announcements you want to do, Norm?
Oh, yes. Other than the Heal the Land Unity Festival that's coming up on August the 22nd from 10 to 6 p.m. at the Life Builders United. That is located 6900 Emerald Avenue in the beautiful city of Chicago. The Unity Fest is a family-friendly neighborhood event promoting a healthy and peaceful start to uniting communities. They're looking for cooks, servers, check-in, people to clean up, security, first aid, set up, all that great stuff. It's going to be live music, entertainment, free food, free school supplies. We love free health screenings, carnival attractions. And guess what? Those tumblers, like none other, Jesse White tumblers, will be in the place. So look forward to seeing you there. And that's all I got to say right now.
That's a lot, no?
Yeah.
That's a big event. And that's a big event for Inglewood. It's a big event because, you know what, the more we love on those people over there, the more the crime rate, as they say, more the violence activity is going down. And I still talk about for the 4th of July holiday that in the whole entire Inglewood, with all of the community organizations over there doing a great job, and we had no violence over there in Inglewood for that particular weekend. But let me start the show off with letting Brian come in and with his guests and talk about whatever it is that they want to put on the table so that you can get the information from it.
Well, we have Sharifa Heath, who's an intern at Uptown People's Law Center, also John Marshall Law student. She took her exams this past week, is a little bit nervous, but I have confidence in her. She's a strong, intelligent young lady, and she passed. She's got to believe more in herself.
Thank you, Brian.
We've got Robert Porter, who's a client from the Law Center for a while. He had diabetes while he was in prison, got inadequate medical treatment. Now he's on Social Security and has to walk with a cane. And we have his partner, Keisha Hollins, who's also had struggles her whole life with epilepsy and having grand mal seizures, that had problems getting jobs. And when she did get a job, she had difficulties keeping them due to the seizures, and she was sort of discriminated against, one, because she's African American, two, because she has medical disabilities. And we were finally able, after years, to help her get her Social Security so she's able to take care of herself. And she went through a lot of trials and tribulations just to get this. And it's a good victory for her because now she could be independent and have her life. You know, and those of us who pay taxes, it's good to see somebody that really needs this help get it.
Mm-hmm.
You know? So you guys each have your story. So
I'm Robert Porter. I'm Robert Porter. I stayed in penitentiary 21 years. 12 of those years I was in solitary confinement. It took a lot out of me, and I have to thank God that I'm still a person that loves everybody and tries my best to do what I can to help anyone, any place, anytime. You know, prison is so rough on people like me to the point where it makes you lose a part of yourself. If you let the time do you, or if you let someone on the outside get into your head while you're there, it's an awful thing, because so many of us come out and we don't have any place anywhere anything, because I lost mothers, fathers, sisters, and brothers
It's okay.
while I was there. But I came out and I found help. I found people that love me and I love them. Brian Nelson and Uptown people, they helped me with my struggles, cause I got diabetes real bad. I got eye problems real bad. They told me I was gonna lose my legs, and I would never walk on them again. But praise God, I'm still here. And for anybody out there that really, really needs help, you got people that actually will help you if you ask for it. You don't have to rob, you don't have to steal, you don't have to kill, you don't have to take, you don't have to be in a gang if you don't want to. Because whether you know it or not, it's on you to do what you can to help someone else. Because you need to treat people like you want to be treated. They treated me like an animal, but I found out one thing: I'm not an animal. I'm still a person. God loves me just like He loves you, and all you have to do is appreciate it. Every day above ground is a good day. God gave all of us one thing, you know what it is? A mind of our own. They can lock up your body, but they can't lock up your mind. And a mind is a terrible thing to waste. Hey, that's all I have to say. I'm Robert Porter. Thank you, and God bless you.
All right, Robert. I don't know if you want to address that.
I mean, powerful testimony. I mean, it is. It's testimony. Number one, needs to be heard. It needs to be, it needs to be addressed, and that's what I talk about all the time about transparency. Not enough of it, and it needs to be addressed more. And it's a great thing knowing that when there is no hope, there is hope. I mean, and you are a prime example of what that hope is all about. When you were mentioning about what you went through and how it not only took a toll physically but mentally, because what people really don't understand, physical is one thing, but when it gets to the mind, when it really get to you mentally, that's more than any physical beating or abuse you can ever take. People think abuse is just how hard you can be hit or how hard you can hit somebody, but the mind is something else, because if you can get to the mind, then the rest is easy. Because that's where it really begins. It begins with the mind. I mean, if you can get in somebody's head, whether it be positive or negative, if you get inside of their head, you pretty much got them. You're gone at that point. And just amazing. Despite that, if you're kind of example of a bend don't break. You bend it, but you didn't break, and that's amazing, and just powerful testimony.
I think that listening to Mr. Porter talk about just the fact that he was physically there, but his mind wasn't there, it just kind of brought me back to thinking about when I visited Logan's Correctional Center just a few short weeks ago, and seeing those women, you can tell that most of them are already at that mental breaking point. They've already, physically, there are things happening to them, either if it's lack of mental treatment or lack of medical treatment, but mentally, you can tell they're completely gone. I can only speak about one of them that I know, and that's the one that Ms. Geraldine knows, Almander, she's been in there almost 20 years, and even though her situation is so crazy, she still, by just talking to her mindset, she literally doesn't let that situation rule her in her day-to-day. Everything she talks about, if she feels like she has those thoughts or she's feeling like in a sad place, she'll pray about it, and you can see it in her spirit. She has a beautiful spirit, and I think that goes a lot to it. Just to see you here today and talk about what you've been through, I think is very much true. As long as your mind is strong, you'll be able to get through whatever anybody throws at you. And the fact that you're able to sit here and say that you were treated like an animal, but you realize the fact that you accepted that you're not an animal, because you could have easily succumbed to what they wanted you to, and you would not be sitting here today and be able to have this testimony in the way that you are. So just know that there are people like me who, just sitting across from you and hearing you say that, and having come from seeing some inmates, it's a powerful thing, and it's very much believable that this stuff happens.
And the other thing, Sharifa, the work you're doing on the Social Security cases, you're learning and being able to help those that need the help. So you're getting the double whammy, and thank you very much.
You know what? I'm sitting here, and your testimony took me back. And I'm so glad that you realize one thing in that whole experience, and that is that God made you, and he wonderfully made you. No matter what the justice system say, no matter what man say, no matter what nobody say, that even if you stayed in jail 21 years, it took you whatever time to come to that point where you know who you are now. I can empathize and sympathize with you when you talk about no family. Everybody is gone. But sometimes, listen to me well, Mr. Porter, sometimes we can have physical beings around us, and they are not what we need. Sometimes we can have people around us, surrounding us, and they are takers and breakers. I held on for 19 years. My mom died 4 months before I came home. My mom hadn't spoke in 3 weeks. And I called home and had to talk to the hospice people. And the lady told me she can't talk. She won't talk. She can't. And I said, put the phone to her ear. When they put the phone to her ear, I said, you will talk to me. You must talk to me. Find whatever strength you can and tell me what it is that's holding you. And my mom whispered to me on the phone and said, I'm tired. She had fought for me for 19 years. She had did everything she could for 19 years. And here it is, I'm right at the threshold to come home. And she told me she was tired. And I had to say to my mom, then go home. Go home where you need to be, where you has trailed this journey all these years. Go home and be with the one you want to be with. I'm going to graduate with honors. I'm going to finish this course and finish it well, so that you can watch me from wherever you are and see that I'm doing my job that I have been assigned by the God of the universe. And I had to let her go. She died 45 minutes later. And I went through the problem with my family because they kept saying, had you held on to her and told her how much you needed her, she'd have stayed here. But my mother was suffering. And I had to be the one to let her go. Let her go. So that I could salute her because of the wonderful job she had did for me all of my life, even from a little girl. To me, it hurted. It ripped me to parts. But to do what God wanted me to do, because he was answering my prayers, and surely he answered hers. But we were asking for the same thing in two different ways. She wanted to go home to be with her maker. And I wanted to hold her here for me. But I also wanted not 1 ounce of suffering that my mother would have to do because of me. And I had to let go. I'm saying this to you. You know your mother and father better than anybody. And in your heart, let them go. Because they're with somebody that can help them, and they can watch and speak for you, for your heart. So on that note, do your salute to them. Do your salute to them, so that nothing in your spirit would tie you or them to this earth. And we're all bound to go to him. We on this journey to go to him. Now everybody crying in this room. I'm supposed to be crying too with you, but I been there before you, and I know what it's like. My sisters wouldn't speak to me, some of them, for a long time because they accused me of holding or letting her go. And I'm so glad that I did. Because, see, 4 months later, I graduated with honors. And she was able to see it, rather than to be laying up in a hospital room or in a room somewhere and couldn't do anything. Sometimes we hold on for selfish reasons. Know that God is able. And if he's able to have kept you for 21 years and 12 years in solitary confinement to let you keep your normal brain activities, that's enough for you to jump over any table and shout about. Because he's still keeping you.
Amen.
Okay? All right, Mr. Red, no?
Yeah, everybody got those testimonies that been inside them Desmo Crips. Those cages ain't nothing to play with, but we not animals. So when we get out and get a break, we don't want to go back, so we know to do right. Most of that time, I call it act right time. Because when you get out, you show act right. All that foolishness, you move around, and then you try to tell somebody something to better themselves. If you're not vindictive or holding it back, most of the people at this table don't mind sharing.
Amen. Okay, my name is Keisha Hollins. This is my first time comment and speaking. I have seizures real bad. I fall out and can't remember. Anything. Last week, I had a seizure, and I couldn't remember anything. And when I came back, it was people that was telling me I did things that I had no business doing. But it was one person that was by me, and he was saying that I didn't do the things that they was telling me that I did. And by being that the person I am, I'm a good-hearted person. I do anything if you ask me to. I don't let people hold me down, or if anybody come between me and that person, I'ma do anything to them. I'm not like that. But Uptown, they had helped me. Uptown community, they helped me to get on SSI. And last week, I got it. And if it wasn't for Uptown, I couldn't say anything. But Nikki, I'm sorry, y'all. I'm nervous and I'm crying.
Take your time. It's just like breathing.
Yeah. Amen. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
But if it wasn't for Nikki, oh boy, I'm sorry, y'all. I'm sorry.
Just remember, ain't nobody looking at you but God.
Right. You right about that. And I did have a lot of struggles before I got on SSI. I was falling out, couldn't remember. And then when I did remember, I was still in the hospital. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm nervous.
That's okay. You know what, Nikki, Nikki, right? You know what you need to one thing remember, Keisha, one thing you need to remember, God is able.
Yes.
God is able.
Yeah.
And he does not forget. And I guess your message is headed to Governor Rana. Here's something Governor Rana needs to see. And the reason why, he cut a lot of services.
Yes, he did.
A lot of services to tear down in order, he says, so that he could build up.
Right.
But it's people like you who honestly need those social services.
Yes, sir.
Like you, Mr. Porter, that honestly need those services. So by you coming and on open air telling your testimony, it is a tribute to what? The greater ears, we might say, in this, the big ears in this city or the state. The rulers of the state need to come down from the mountain to the valley and see and hear these type of stories. Because no way would or should the governor be cutting programs when there's people out here like you that need these services. Now, I grant you, people play games about getting on SSI or disability or whatever it's called. But there's people that really, really need them.
Yeah.
And you appear to be one of those people. Those services and the taxpayers should applaud you for talking about your private issues to show the need to those who have no idea what those issues are, but to show the need that they are needed, these services are needed. And I thank you for coming on the radio.
Thank you.
I thank you.
Thank you for having me.
And I'd like to thank Mr. Crawford. You know, you give us this platform, and a lot of us, we work where we can help others. We're not getting rich. We're not getting a lot. We struggle to make ends meet at times, to help the kids, to help the next person. And Mr. Crawford, you've given us a platform to show people that there are those out here that care. And I'd like to thank you, Mr. Crawford, for giving us this.
And you know, one other thing I want to say to my audience. This has been the show that you can call the teardropper. Because I think everybody in this room dropped a tear or tears today. Because we're dealing with genuine issues of humanity. Genuine issues that some people will never have an eyewitness to or never understand. What it's like to have a seizure and then can't remember what has happened during that time. And then to have seizures and then have the naysayers standing around accusing you of bringing those seizures on yourself because of something you're doing or whatever.
Or not to have a place to go after you have the seizures. Just push you out the hospital. Well, it's now you have your chance at life.
Yeah.
You did it.
I can say prior to interning at Uptown People's Law Center, I thought I was passionate. Well, I still am passionate about being a criminal defense attorney and things like that. And when you tell people you want to do things, they want to know why. It's not for the money. It's not where the money is and things of that nature. When I came to Uptown People's Law Center, the state of mind I had when I walked in those doors is definitely gone. It's different. I felt like I was living in a bubble prior to being there because you know that there's a breakdown in systems. You know that there are things that are corrupt or going wrong, people that need help. But sitting down at case review every Monday to hear the people that walk through their doors or to take an intake and know that these people are really suffering, either they're on the brink of about to lose their homes or they really need these benefits and they're not getting it, or if they were locked up and had a situation in there. Like when I tell you that hearing you talk about this today, these are the reasons, like they reassure me why I want to be an attorney. And people often think that it's for the money and that's the only type of thing, but like the lawyers at Uptown People's Law Center, they want to help people because there are people in the community that really need that, and those people who walk in those doors every day really need the help. And I don't think that as many people know about the issues that are suffering, like how serious it is. Just to find out how long a Social Security case takes was very enlightening to me. So just know that there are people who are fighting for you guys, and it is really an enlightening experience, especially being at Uptown People's Law Center, just to kind of see people like you guys and to know that you were able to get your benefits. It makes me feel like we're doing something right.
Amen.
Amen.
That's good.
God put us here for a reason.
You sound pretty good, Sandra Bland.
We just need to keep
That's good. It's a good spirit. That's a good spirit.
Thank you.
She needs that. She knows she just have to find. She'll find her niche. God will give it to her.
Yeah, I mean, other than like
Other
I
than your
said,
accountability and responsibility.
yeah. You can't ever leave that alone. But just like Mr. Porter's testimony, I mean, yours just as powerful as well. And listening to what you were saying, it's good. It's good to know that you guys over there at the Uptown People's Law Center, are doing it, and good to know that there are still some good folk in society. Not everybody is just out for the buck. Not everybody is just it's in it for them and them only. So it's good to know. And I'm just glad that you guys are able to get the help that you're able to get. And again, that's just hope for others that may be in similar situations, for them knowing that you all are prime examples that it can happen. It can be. Yeah, just keep hanging in there.
Old guy told me yesterday, got a funeral home. He said people used to do things for people without money.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Everything you do now, they want to turn a buck.
And I'm a firm believer that God, the Creator, put us here for a purpose.
Yep.
And if we don't serve His purpose, we're denying Him and disrespecting Him.
And if you want to talk about accountability, yes, we are held accountable for not doing that work.
Accountability and responsibility.
There you go.
This has been one show that, like I say, you can call it the teardropper if you want to. But guess what? We put some good information out. Ladies and gentlemen, this is WYCA 102.3 FM, your Rejoice Gospel Network. I'm Miss Geraldine Smith, and this is A Pleasant Encounter. And I have to, at this time, bid you good night.
You have been listening to A Pleasant Encounter with Miss Geraldine Smith. We hope that you've enjoyed your journey with Miss Smith and pray that you've been inspired, uplifted, and edified by her story of faith. Listen next Sunday at 8:30 p.m. for A Pleasant Encounter. Remember, Philippians 4:13 says that I can do all things through